Hello, world. You are now tuned into What's the Realty in Realty. I'm your host, Annalisa Carter, realtor and neighborhood economist. I'm here with my co-host, the illustrious real estate coach, Tyrone Whitby. Welcome to this podcast where we discuss all things real estate.
Hi, guys. Welcome to our podcast, What's the Realty in Realty. I am your host, Annalisa Carter, realtor and neighborhood economist. I'm with Keller Williams Preferred Property. I am here with my co-host, the illustrious master real estate coach, Tyrone Whitby. How are you, Tyrone?
Well, it's always great to have a great hype man. So it's good having a great hype man. I'm good.
That's good. So here at What's the Realty in Realty, we discuss all things real estate. We're based in the Washington metropolitan area, and that covers Washington, D.C., Maryland, primarily Prince George's County, and Virginia. So we talk about the current market, trends, investments, and so much more. This is our first podcast, guys. So for today's topic, we are discussing the historic real estate highs, the current market status, and this is a seller's perspective. So this is one of a two-part series. So just to give you some background information, I wanted to highlight both some national and local statistics. So nationally, with little supply in the market, homes typically sold within 17 days, which was 27 days just 1 year ago. On average, homes have sold, they have about 5 offers. So just to show you that buyer's competition is definitely heating up. Not to mention, interest rates are at a historic low. This has caused more interested buyers looking, and in turn, you can get more house for lower costs than before. So just to say, the pandemic has not slowed the show. So locally, in April, home sales surged even higher. The shatter records just broken in March. Prince George's County has now recorded the lowest days on the market for the last over 10 years. So the median days on the market have been 6 days, which is about a 40% decrease from April 2020. That means houses are not staying on the market very long. So, Coach, given the statistics we just heard, the hot topics that we'll discuss today are the benefits of selling in this market. So as a seller, you have leverage, and more leverage. That means more money, multiple offers. So as a seller, you have leverage, and more leverage. That means more money, multiple offers. And this is the old adage of the supply and demand. So inventory is tight, fewer houses on the market, and there's an influx of buyers. So Tyrone, you've been in the business for decades now. You've seen the market shift and pivot a few times over. How do you explain this market?
Well, Lisa, that's pretty broad. You said, how do you explain it? There's so many facets to the market and the different factors affecting the market. Some people want to say that this is reminiscent to 2007, 8, 9. I think there are different forces that are in effect right now. I think one of the things that we're seeing right now is the interest rates are extremely low. Mm-hmm. You have many millennials that are looking to make their first purchase.
That's true.
They want to take advantage of the mortgage market because many of the rates now, some parts of the country, people are actually borrowing money in the 2s. Okay. And, 3, in the 3s is totally not unheard of. Mm-hmm. So you have that going on, as well as the real driving forces that we just have so much, we just have rather a really diminished supply of available homes. The inventory, I've never seen it at this low. I've never seen it. And actually for Prince George's County, it has the lowest amount of available homes in the DMV. Mm-hmm. So, of course, as you stated earlier, Lisa, that's really escalating prices. It's escalating the number of people making offers as well.
Yeah.
More showings, more activity. So that's really what we're really seeing. So those are really, good forces. We know that, after 2007, for about a 6-year span of time, there were no new homes and no new construction really being done because people weren't buying the homes that were existing homes because the market had taken a turn in the opposite direction.
Right.
So banks weren't loaning on those. So we're behind in terms of supply.
Okay. And you haven't seen this particular market in previous, because I realize sometimes the market is cyclical, right? So we can be in a current seller's market or buyer's market, and then it shifts. But this particular seller's market, you haven't seen before.
Well, I would venture to say that anyone actually alive has not seen this when you're seeing statistics that are, nationwide. I think one of the things that's interesting is that it's rarely do local real estate markets mirror the national market. It's very rare that you see it because real estate is really it's a local business done by local real estate professionals. And what we're seeing is nationwide statistics in terms of most people that are selling are getting more than they actually listed the home for.
Yeah.
And that's because typically you go region by region by region. So I would venture to say no one alive has seen this. I've certainly, as you attested to earlier, I've seen many hot real estate seller driven markets where sellers have the advantage. However, and even when I was looking at those markets back in 2000 and, we all thought it was crazy back in 2004, 5, early 6.
Yeah.
This far surpasses that. It far surpasses that.
And he's talking about right before the bubble, guys. And it's interesting, though, we're talking about national compared to local, but there are some outliers. Like in New York, it's a buyer's market because people have fled due to COVID. So you see a shift there, but those are clearly just outliers. It's pretty indicative to most of the places in the U.S. That's similar to our region. So in this segment, we want to get the word on the street. And this is where we get feedback from our clients. So what I'm actually getting from clients who are interested in selling, they want to know if fixing up their house to put on the market is still viable because it is a seller's market and you have so many eager buyers. Is it okay to fix their house up, the full Monty, putting in new floors, doors, everything? What would you say to those clients? How would you advise them?
Well, I think that there are minimum things that I would recommend that sellers do, especially any things that are health, safety type items, maintenance items. I wouldn't attempt to, because the market is a strong seller's market, sell someone a property where I know that the roof leaks or that the basement gets water.
Yeah.
Those type things. Now, getting into maybe painting, a room, and even in some cases, even recarpeting. The market is so really driven right now, and it's so white hot on the seller side of this market that typically those are not things that are going to prevent a home from selling. Mm-hmm. So, when you're not doing, let's say, especially maintenance items and things like that, mm-hmm. people take those things that are buyers, people take those things into account.
Yeah.
Because they know that somebody's got to do it. And even in a hot market, perhaps you could have gotten a little bit more had those things been done.
That's true.
Versus you didn't do them, and hey, you're going to get a fair price. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say you wouldn't get a fair price. However, could you have, pushed the envelope a little bit more?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's always a good idea to do the things that you know that you need to do, the things that will allow your home to show well.
Yeah.
To stand out amongst the competition and to really receive a fair price for your home.
That's true. Especially if you have other houses that's actually on the market in your neighborhood. You want your house to basically stand out amongst, what's current in your neighborhood. So I agree with that. Also, some other feedback that I'm getting, pricing the house. So they know that it's a seller's market, so they're eager to price their house at a higher price. What do you say to that?
Well, I think the market will dictate what you're going to receive. I don't feel in this market that there's really a need to overprice a house. I really don't, because I think most people are going to really be excited and really welcome what they're going to be able to actually sell their home for. I really don't think that there's a need to overprice. In this market, what we're seeing is individual buyers are bidding against other buyers and bidding the price up. Actually, if the property is at market, or in some cases, actually a little bit more, it really spurs more of a bidding war. And sellers actually are happy with what they're receiving. And at some point, depends on when people come on the market, at some point, there will be some softening that's going to take place in the market.
Yeah.
And if you're overpriced, basically you're helping to sell someone else's home.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be in that position.
You still want the good competition from buyers. So you want to price it moderately and then let the market dictate and let the buyers compete.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
That makes sense. So we have gotten a question from our audience, and they want to know, is it still a good time to buy? And so I would say yes, because the interest rates are low and you get more house for your money. But what would you say, Tyrone, on that? I know it's a seller's market, but is it still a good time to buy?
I've been asked that question many times, and I guess my answer, no matter what the market is, to me, it's always a great time to own real estate.
Yep.
Anytime you can acquire an asset and own something that gives you greater leverage, something that you can use as a stepping stone to maybe other things that you want to do in your life. Sometimes we have people that are looking to open small businesses, that type of thing. And a lot of times the first part of that is you have an asset and you have something that has value. So more lenders, banks, savings institutions are more amenable to loaning money to people that own real estate, that have collateral that they can use as security as well. So to me, I think it's always a great time. And the thing you have to remember is, typically people buy due to their circumstances. People sell due to their circumstances. And your circumstances are what they are at any given time in the market that you're presently in.
Yeah.
You could always wish it was 2 years from now, 3 years from now. How many times do you hear, oh, I should have bought 5 years ago, or I should have sold 5 years ago, or I'm waiting.
Or I'm going to wait. And you don't know.
Exactly.
You have no idea, especially, again, locally, this market is continuing to rise. And, with all the jobs that are still in this area, the federal government is still moving, so we didn't really get hit as bad as other parts of the country. So people are still employed in this area. So we can see an influx of people who are still willing to purchase homes during this pandemic.
It's the market of the moment.
Yeah.
So you can only operate in the market of the moment. So I think anytime you can just get your hands on real estate. And then how many times have you heard someone say too, when I bought my house, I wish I would have bought 2?
That might be a first.
Well, I look at
investments, for sure.
I look at what I bought my house for, and for $75,000, and I thought that was like a lot. 75,000.
Yeah.
And I look at now, it's unbelievable.
That's
it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's
that's to tell you where
we
are. Exactly. That's to tell you where we are.
My advice is to get 2 of them.
2.
Get 2.
And if you have 2, buy 3.
Exactly. Don't go ahead thinking 1. Have a plan for getting the 2.
And then buy different types of homes. Like you can buy a single family home, your primary resident. You can buy a multi-unit. You can make investments that way. People are doing fix and flips. So just acquiring different kinds of real estate, I think is very important as well to build wealth, right?
Exactly. And to build a legacy. People are looking to leave a legacy for their family. We know in many, the overall statistics actually for minorities in the United States, I mean, home ownership is around 42%. So the majority of minorities right now they do not own their own home. So, and a lot of people think that home ownership rates are much above that. Minority home ownership has never been above 50% in America.
Wow. All right, guys, we want to leave you with some definitions. It's always good to educate our audience. And so we wanted to debunk some of these terms. So what is the difference between market price versus market value? So I'm just going to read the definition here for you guys. A market price is the real estate amount that a willing and ready buyer will pay and what the seller will accept for a property. The market price is a bit simpler than the market value in that it is easy to set. Market price is mainly determined by the investment property's condition. So the market price boils down to the amount of the real estate will sell for. On the flip side, the market value is a property that is estimated, the estimated amount or opinion of what the real estate property would sell for, taking into consideration its value. So example, the price is a set price, and the value is determined by the current market or the appraised value. Do you have any insight on that?
No, I mean, that's pretty succinct there, because basically market price is price. It's what someone has paid. What have other people paid for similar properties? Market value is what would it probably sell for. So it's a little bit of a before and after. So market value is going to be a before. Market price is an after.
Gotcha.
It's documented evidence.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you for that explanation. So this was the first series and episode. This went by pretty quickly just to get your palate a little wet there. But our next episode, the topic will continue to be the current market, but this will be a buyer's perspective instead. So this will be a part 2 of the 2 series. So if you want to send us questions that you want to be answered at the next episode, please send them to annalisacarter@kw.com. And that is spelled ANNALISA, Carter, CARTER @kw.com. Or you can DM me on my Instagram page or Facebook at Annalisa Sells DMV. That's ANNALISA SELLS DMV. Or you can call me at 202-977-9343. So there are many ways to get in contact with me here, but I definitely want to be able to answer any questions that you may have. So I want to leave you guys with a gem that's from Andrew Carnegie. He's a billionaire industrialist, and he says that 90% of all millionaires become so through owning real estate. So it's that time to take that leap, folks. So we have come to the close, and we bid you adieu until our next episode of What's the Realty in Realty. Thank you, guys, and thank you to my co-host, Tyrone Whitby.
It was a pleasure being with you, and I want to
Thank
thank
you.
your audience, and I trust that they'll continue to tune in as you continue to consult, advise, and educate.
Thank you for joining us, and take care.